Welcome to your North Coast Flavour Trails guide. This is a highly visual map-based guide that will help visitors uncover different food and beverage experiences in your region and inspire them to plan road trips of their own. When someone lands on the guide, we want to make it as flexible for them as possible to find what they're looking for. They could take control of the map to see what's in a particular town, or they can use the filters we've set up on the left-hand side to refine their search. A visitor may know what region they're visiting in particular, and therefore they can use the region filter to start their planning. By scrolling down this list, the regions will indicate on the mini-map to give context and relativity, and they can click into any of the regions and the listings will filter to show them what's within that area. Or maybe they're the kind of traveller with no fixed destination, but they're guided by the type of experience they're looking for. So in that case, that traveller may start their filtering and search process by clicking on the thematic categories on the left-hand side. Maybe they're looking for places to find local produce, fruit picking, or farmers markets. Maybe they're guided by a winery road trip or breweries and distilleries. Maybe they're looking for an experience or an event. Our event filter offers them to refine their search even further by dates and types of events. Finally, there's the type of traveller who doesn't have the confidence to plan their own road trip and rather wants to be inspired by a pre-curated trail to get them started. This is where the Inspire Me section will come in, and the pre-curated road trips will be a starting point for someone to put together their own journey or follow it as it is. Okay, so now it's time to dive into the guide and start planning my own road trip. I know I have about a week off. I'm coming from the north, from the Gold Coast region, and I'm really into beer and spirits. I'm not yet sure where I want to go, but I love uncovering new boutique breweries and distilleries. So I'm going to start my search by using these thematic filters on the left. This gives me a good starting point. I can see where some of the places that I might like to add to my journey are. I can see where they are in relation to each other and approximately how many are in the region. I could either filter through this list on the left-hand side or on the map, depending on my own preference. I'm going to use the map to give me a little insight into what these icons represent. And then I'm going to click into the one that interests me to find out a little bit more information. At this point, we're pulling in all the ATW content for this business listing. We see their photo gallery, any accessibility data, their contact details, and any other attributes they've assigned to their business. This will be different for each business depending on what's been added. And importantly, things like opening hours. At this point, I could visit their website to read a little bit more about the business, or in this case, I'm going to shortlist it because it looks like an interesting place to visit, so I'm going to book a market. So now that I've bookmarked a listing up in this Byron Bay area, I'm keen to explore a little bit more about this area. So what I'm going to do is add a filter on top of my brewery selection, and it's going to hone me in on this Byron Bay and Ballina area in particular and help me refine my search. So while I'm in the area, I'm going to also look at the 7 Mile Brewer and Lord Byron Distillery. what about just north of here? Maybe I'll also extend my search to looking around the Tweed area. Okay, I think I'm going to add another one to my list. And at this point, it'd be really interesting to also add some places to eat and drink. Yes, my trip is probably defined by the breweries and distilleries I'm going to follow, but we also need to eat along the way. So I'm now going to look at some food options. I really like Mexican. This looks like a good place to add. I'm going to zoom out to see what else I can find. Oh, another Mexican. Perfect. Right on the beach. I'm going to add that to my list as well. You'll notice at this point that we've got these little directional labels that will appear on the map. What they're doing is they're trying to give context and relativity at every point within this journey to the consumer. Not everyone knows where these key destinations are, and they don't know how long and how far between them. So we're just trying to facilitate that process for people who are unfamiliar with the region. Okay, so I know I'm going to be spending a bit of time in this region. It may be worth also looking into accommodation so that I can stay more than one night. If I zoom into the map, you'll start to see grey icons appearing, and these are accommodation providers. These sit at a second tier of hierarchy on the map because the goal of this map is a food and wine experience, but we know that if we want to keep people in region longer, we have to make it easy for them to also find places to stay. So once they've distilled their options for their food and beverage trip, they can zoom into the map at any point within any town, and it is going to display all of the ATW accommodation listings for them to explore and also add to their list. So now I've got a pretty good list going. You'll see in the top right hand corner my trip planner is building up a list of 7 places. Let's have a look at what's in those places. Now that I've added places to a saved list, I can view them by clicking the bookmark in the top right hand corner. Once in this view, you'll see your saved list items on the map, and on the left hand side where you can manage this list, you can delete them by clicking the cross or reorder them by dragging and dropping. If you just wanted a list of places to have on hand when in destination, you could take the map as it is, and this is your personalised map for when you're on the ground. You can email it to yourself, send it to your mobile, or download as a PDF. You can also choose to turn on routes if you want a day-by-day routed itinerary to follow. By clicking the Add Routes button, the program will join the places on your map by the shortest route. You can also choose to add a starting location and an end location. Both of these are optional. Here you will see that the route has appeared on the map, shows you the driving distance between points. It allows you to see what these places are. And again, once on mobile, you're going to be able to follow this on the ground in destination. Let's have a look at what it looks like on mobile. The guide has been designed with a mobile-first approach so that we can support visitors who are planning their trip on mobile in destination. The full functionality seen on desktop version is also available on the mobile experience. Someone could click the map to interact with the icons, or they can use the filters along the top to refine their search. In this case, I'm going to use the region filter. I'm going to apply a category filter of fruit picking. And I can click into this listing for more detail. Again, you'll see the full HW content flowing through here, including contact details and booking links, and I can bookmark this listing to add it to my shortlist. From here, I could continue through that planning process we saw on desktop, but it can be done on mobile. And then at the end of that process, the user can either follow the journey in destination, they can follow their route and get directions along the way, really supporting the user from end to end, from inspiration to planning through to on-the-ground discovery.